Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is Star at the Magical Witchy World TV, and we're glad to be back tonight. And
Yes, happy Friday, everyone. I'm Rhonda Allen. Welcome back. And yes, on with the show,
yes,
our very special guest.
It's a magical, witchy world. It's a magical, witchy world.
well, it's great to be here tonight.
Welcome,
Welcome.
welcome, Ruth Barrett. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
So happy to have you here tonight with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, and as we always like to do, we want to introduce you to everyone watching live or on playback.
Mhm.
And I'd like to introduce you by going through your bio. So, Ruth is an acknowledged feminist spirituality pioneer, seasoned ritualist, and ordained Dianic high priestess dedicated to female centered magic and mysteries. Ruth is also a musician, priestess, mountain dulcimer recording artist, and singer whose numerous recordings beginning in 1980 have been among the pioneering musical works in the U.S. pagan and goddess spirituality movement. Her most recent recording is Once and Future Amazons. Since 1980, Ruth has taught magical and ritual arts at women's and pagan festivals and conferences across the United States and abroad. She's author of Women's Rights, Women's Mysteries, and has contributed to several other anthologies celebrating, including Stepping into Ourselves, an anthology of writings of priestesses and foremothers of the women's spirituality movement, elders and visionaries, and contributed the entry of ritual to women in world religions, faith, and culture across history. Ruth is co founder of Temple of Diana. Incorporated, a 501c3, Dianic Temple, and you can reach her at guardiansofthegrove.org, where you can also find, I guess, links to all the other ways people can find you.
Yes, that's
Perfect.
wonderful. Yeah,
Excellent, excellent.
thank you. That's awesome.
Welcome
That's
again.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started with all the wonderful questions we have for Ruth about herself. So, because we've been looking forward to this conversation with you, one of the first questions we love to ask people, because in our magical, witchy world of community, diversely grouped people, everyone calls themselves a particular thing, not what other people call you, but what you identify as.
Mhm.
So, over the years, I don't know from when you first began to where you are now, what did you identify yourself as initially, and maybe throughout, and then where you are now? That would be really nice to have
Sure.
everyone.
Great question, especially the continuum.
Yeah.
Um, so the wi- be, it, there wasn't all these movements when I started. We're talking about the late 1960s into the early 1970s, uh, and and because of what was going on at the time, I mean, what just even historically, the witchcraft laws were repealed, like maybe like 1954, I think. Well, like a year I was born, or it's like maybe 1953. So people coming out of the broom closet, it was a gradual kind of thing. But when I was very young, I thought I had invented my own religion, because, because there was no books, there were no
Right.
Right,
was
right.
Yeah.
no places to go. There was no one really to talk to. Um, and so I just kind of kept quiet about, going out under the full moon and dancing and
Mm,
writing poetry to the goddess.
Nice.
When
Nice.
I was 12. I mean, so there
beautiful.
was this search for the the female. And I was raised Jewish. I was raised Reconstructionist Jewish, which is a very interesting denomination, and it influenced me a lot. in terms of understanding how ritual evolves and how religion evolves. And so I was never told that God was a particular thing. I never had to release myself from like an image of a male deity, for example, you
Right,
know.
right. Okay.
So, but it made sense to me as a child that, well, if there was a metaphor for the creator, he would certainly be female because it's obvious.
I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah.
you know, we live on a female planet. We see women giving birth to life and nurturing life from our bodies. I mean, if we're going to choose metaphor here for something that is beyond our ability to talk about, you know,
Mhm.
this
Create
thing
a war or create trash. Yeah.
exactly, then it would make sense to use to say she. And
Mhm.
so that is kind of where I started. And then I met and I was introduced to Robert Graves, the White Goddess, in high
Mhm.
school. I was
Mhm.
friends with Mark Simos, who's the younger
Mm,
brother of who became Starhawk later.
mhm.
So, you know, I mean, there's all these different things. I was in the right place at the
Wow.
right
Right.
Yeah.
and um and then I met Shakina Mountain Water, who is really she's in spirit now, but she
Mhm.
was my first formal teacher.
Mm.
I met her in 1971, and then I was in her first circle in 75, and
Mm.
so on and so forth.
Wow.
And then I did not meet the Budapest until 76. And that connection was really, really powerful
Yeah.
because I felt like I found my place. And you know, we were still figuring all kinds of stuff out because we're talking about new religions inspired from ancient knowledge, right?
Right,
So
right.
we're 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 taking things, and this was happening within. I'm talking about, you're on the East Coast and I was on the
Yeah.
West.
Right.
Of
Mhm.
course, the craft communities developed differently, probably,
Differently.
you know, and yet there were similarities, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
There was so much going on especially in Northern California, but certainly in Southern California as well.
Right.
And then the intersection of what then became a feminist spirituality,
Mhm.
which was not originally something that came out of traditional craft, but definitely happened. And Z Budapest certainly was the one who articulated that the most.
Mhm.
And how religion has always been political, and we need to talk about that. We need to
Actually, you're
Yeah.
right. I hadn't thought about it, but you're right. Yeah.
and think about
Extremely political too.
always has been. How can it
Right.
not be?
Yeah.
Because you know, because it's your battery. You know, it's like what you believe takes you to what you do.
Right.
Right. Right.
So that was important. And so again, to kind of bring it into a nutshell, uh, at the tender age of 26 years old, I was ordained as a high priestess to take the Budapest place in Los Angeles when
Mm.
she moved to Northern California in 1980.
Mm.
And so from that point, um, I had my own work to do,
Yeah.
and I feel because of my background in Judaism, I was very much about if you're going to really if you're going to have a tradition that can be passed down,
Mhm.
you have to figure out how to do that.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And because I don't know that you can pass down spirituality, I feel like that's personal, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
personal spirituality, which is obviously super important. But if we're going to join with others, that's what religion is made of. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
our tribal coming together, and how are
People,
we
yeah,
coming
yeah.
together?
That's a religion, and a lot of people don't like to hear that. But so I know you were ordained as a high priestess in that tradition.
Mhm.
But again, not what they're calling you, but what did you refer to yourself as?
Yeah.
So I'm Dianic, in terms of
Mhm.
feminist Dianic. A lot of people over the years even said, well, you've done so much to evolve this, you should probably call it something else, and all that. And I don't feel like that. I did not feel like that was right,
Mm.
because I just didn't feel okay about that.
Okay.
So I think that any teacher expands from what she has been taught where it feels important to do so.
Right, right,
And so I felt like that's just what people do.
right. Yeah, absolutely. So, aside from the tradition, did you refer to yourself as a witch, a Wiccan, a
Yes.
Dianic,
Yeah,
or
yes, thank you. I considered myself a witch.
okay,
Um, and absolutely before all of this, but at the time, this is the thing. The cross-pollination in the early years, in the 19 especially in the early 1970s, you
Mhm.
still had almost a separation between, because
excuse me.
traditional Wicca, the Gardnerian derivatives and stuff that
Mhm.
happened, and then this goddess
Excuse
spirituality
me.
Yeah.
that was coming out of the women's spirituality.
Yes.
Women in traditional, in the God-centered religions, looking for, well, where am I in this? You know,
Yeah.
looking for her in the traditional places, and then of course, like me, for me personally, I felt like I needed to step out and go into this
Mm.
alternative possibility of the goddess, because of my work also as a musician, but also it was where my path led me. You
Okay,
Yeah.
know,
sounds good. Sounds good. Okay.
That's beautiful. I mean, you've taken us through a bit of your history and what brought you here.
Mhm.
But let's go back because as you mentioned, you were dancing under the moon or what have you as a preteen. I'm going to
Yes.
use basically. So what was it? What was it that you felt was the motivation? What was it within you that said, "This is what I need to be doing"?
I think it comes down to a reverence for nature,
Mm.
you know? And also I was inspired by mythology. I
Mhm.
read a lot of mythology. My family was, lived out of the country for over a year, and there was no television. And
Wow.
so
Right.
what did
Yeah.
I do? I read, and I read everything I could, fairy tales and mythology, and so there was something that resonated. I
Mm,
think that's because I
mhm.
couldn't articulate it really. I
Mm.
couldn't have said, "Oh, well, I think I'm gonna be a witch." I think that it was, something was waking up that had no name, you know?
Wow.
It
Yeah.
was it was just, and I and my family did a lot of folk music, which is where I come from in terms of the music that I do now and have
Mhm.
been, where the I was attracted to, especially to the traditional songs that had, like, what
Mm.
would have been called supernatural,
Mhm.
they called them,
Mhm.
like, the supernatural ballads, and it
Wow.
really, again, it hooked me, because when you begin to study, which is what I did as a, I went to school, and I studied in college and a university, and I studied, I created my own major in folklore, where I got to
Mm.
study the goddess and
Right
all of
on.
these old magical customs, and they graduated me with honors for it. So,
Beautiful.
I got to make up my own path. But when you the old songs, and this is the fairy tales too, they contain traces.
Mhm.
It's like if there are traces of magic that are left in there. And
Yeah.
I just follow the trails. And like I wanted to understand, oh, these two lovers die, and out of their grave
Mhm.
this kind of plant grows, and out of
Yes.
out of his or out of hers, and then they entwine, and it's
Yes.
like, and I'm going, what does that mean?
Mm.
What is that? And then you study it, and you go, oh, there's this belief in plant souls,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
animism.
know,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
The transmutation, if that's the right word for it,
Yeah,
of the soul into
Mhm.
something else.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that road also leads you to paganism,
Yes.
because it's not, that's where the remnants and the clues are left in the old songs and the old stories, in crafts,
Yes.
in folk crafting, and
Mm.
of course
Mhm.
herbalism
Mhm.
and all those things.
Well
that's
said. Good.
yeah,
Wow, that's so exciting that you were able to design your
yeah,
own your program. That's your
yeah,
program of study.
Yeah,
That's fabulous.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
fabulous. I'm actually taking some classes in mythology, myths and storytelling right now.
yeah.
That's
It's interesting to do that.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so from your point of view, not anyone
mhm,
else's, yours,
mhm.
what does it mean to be that witch?
Mm.
Um, it means to me to know, to really experience being female embodied.
Mhm.
And what that means for me is that I allow my senses to give me information of the environment around me, and also within myself. I'm just like, I'm honing my senses to pick up information that is in this sea of energy that we live in. Um,
Mm.
and and then I decide how I want to use it.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Um, you've been on this journey. This has been really, truly your life story.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us how
Right.
you practice this in your everyday. Yeah. How does this move throughout your everyday?
Well, this literally has been what I have done and been, I guess, my whole life. I've been blessed that I can say that.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
I've done very creative things in order to, like, make my way through the world, like pay bills, you those kinds of
Yes.
things. Um, it's I I live it every day. She's forever. This is what I'm thinking about all of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's rare that I'm not thinking about what I can do with the information I'm getting. How can I
Mm,
improve my classes I teach?
mhm.
How can I put into words something that is really hard to explain because
Yes.
it's experiential? That's a challenge, and I have done amazingly well be able to do that in classes that I teach. So, um, and there's things that with the internet, because
Mhm.
I never would have thought in a million years I would have been teaching over the internet.
Right,
And
right. Well,
it wasn't until, because truthfully, I don't think the craft is supposed to be taught that way. And I still feel
mhm.
that way. So I had to figure out since the shutdowns, with COVID, I had to figure this out. And so I got to figure out what can be taught and what
Mhm.
just simply has to be done in a physical setting with people. And so I had to discern those things.
Yeah.
Mm,
But I live in the
Oh,
country. I live in a rural environment, so I'm tending to the altars, the main altar in my home. I change it with the seasons. Every 6 weeks, it goes through a metamorphosis.
mm,
I We have an outdoor place where we make offerings to the land folk.
yeah.
So we have a relationship with the folk of our land where we live,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
and are talking to them all the time too. Like, they don't want us to mow right here. They want us to leave that wild. Okay, so
Yes.
we
Yeah,
paying attention.
yeah.
Um,
absolutely.
So it's I just, I just turned 72 this year,
Happy
and
birthday.
I feel like I never want to lose the beginner's mind.
Mm,
Okay. That's
I
that's a
just
great, actually, great observation.
and I just feel like I have a phrase I made up, which
mm.
is I've always been myself, only now I'm just more so.
Yes,
You
that's
know,
a
More
great.
authentically you. That's what I think. As we get older, I think that's what happens to us.
I
Yes,
think so. It's like
yes,
we're seated in ourselves.
Yeah.
But
yes.
I'm always learning. I'm learning all the time, and I will always continue to do that. So
Yes.
Beautiful.
really
Yeah.
been I just
I
love being
agree with all of that. Yeah, agree with all of that because we're always learning. It's just otherwise we become stagnant, kind of
Yes.
thing. Okay,
yeah.
so that's a great segue into what has become very important to you, or has been, and still becoming, or whatever it is, or you
Yes.
know,
Okay. So I'm in, what some folks call my third destiny. I'm in this the post. I'm in my this phase of life where I'm very very I want to say obsessed, but
Mm,
maybe it's not the right word, with leaving. I okay, I'm not saying this in an egotistical way at all. So mm, um I want to leave things behind in terms of writing or teachings because I feel like I had to become the person I was looking for
yes, yes.
because there wasn't anyone who synthesized things the way that I found myself doing. There's fantastic teachers out there. I'm not and I learned from everyone. So I'm not putting myself above anyone else whatsoever. But what I'm saying is that how every teacher brings what they bring in the way they do,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And some people resonate with that, some people don't resonate with that, and folks find but I'm working on a new project, for example. I'm collaborating with a very dear friend who's a priestess who I've known for a very long time, and we're working on a new book project, which is the Women's Wheel of the Year.
Ooh,
And
beautiful.
yeah, and it's just been so exciting
nice.
to work on this project. And it's because when you have to write something, it's different than I can talk around in circles all day, but when you putting it into I'm a cyclical kind of thinker,
Mhm.
but when you write it down, it has to be somewhat linear, right?
Yeah,
So
Yes.
so that
that's
people
awesome.
can follow your train of thought even while you're maybe writing in a way that's hopefully inspiring and metaphorically interesting.
That's
Um,
Yes.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
so I'm doing that. I'm very, it's always about what are we going to leave behind for those who will follow, who will never know us. And that
Legacy.
legacy and seeding the
That
future and leaving a legacy. And that phrase came from a wonderful astrologer who I used to know named Gretchen Lawler. And she talked about this third destiny in this way. It's about seeding the future and leaving a legacy. And I've been focused on that since, frankly, my 40s, which brought me to my first book, but writing my first book, but it's continued. It has not stopped.
that is
Okay.
so key and critical. Seeding the future, absolutely. On that, and I think this is a segue because it leads directly to this topic because what you're speaking about is leaving and sharing this information for those who are coming after you.
Yes.
Share a bit more about the relationship you have or what's going on with you and community right now.
So I stepped out of holding a center in
Mhm.
the community in Los Angeles in 2000, where I
Mm,
had
mhm.
been serving there since 1980. And that community is still happening. We are the oldest Dianic community ever, I guess, in the world, because
Right. Wow.
it started there. And we are still offering seasonal rituals for, except now we have, there's the high priestess that has is holding center now. They do some live things, but
Mhm.
mostly we are doing online things,
Mhm.
ritual online, which we've gotten very good at. But of course, it's totally different than being together. Uh,
Yes.
Yes, of
Yes.
but
course.
people come and go. I mean, I'm not there anymore. Our women who were part of this many years ago are all over the place.
Yeah,
So, the web, you know, double entendre intended with the internet has it has still been like a lifeline,
yes, it is.
Mhm.
for so many people to at least come together in this world that we're living in, which is,
Yeah.
moving so ridiculously fast, and it's so, terrifying.
Oh, man.
So it is a way to that we can hold each other up, like
Yes.
remind each other who we are and why we're
Right.
here and why we're here. And
Exactly. Well said.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. Because and it's this one I'm going to call a true segue, because it's going to be, what would you like to see us as witches accomplish? Because you went right from that part, and you're like, and I think that's really wonderful to hear.
I think that being visible, offering the possibility of another way of thinking to people.
Mhm.
As you know, we don't proselytize. It's not, you can't convert people to this. So
Right.
it's a way of thinking about our interconnections and interdependency with all that is. And so it's, it's this is why I'm doing this show, for example,
Mm.
right? This is why I said yes, because you don't know who you're gonna touch. You
Right.
just you just don't know. And so what you're doing by having a program like this is exactly what I would say, reach out in all the different ways of the talent that you have.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I don't do a lot of concerts anymore. I I just I don't know. I do for ritual. I do music
Mhm.
for rituals all the time, and in some festivals, of course,
Right.
I'll do the music. But that's another way of communicating. You
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
And then when you hold space for goddess in the way that you do, it touches people.
And
Absolutely.
absolutely, that's wonderful. Yeah.
So you mentioned about the concerts. What projects do you have coming up, or things that you're thinking about doing?
Musically,
In any way,
Anyway.
regardless.
yeah, I think that my recording days are done, and that's
Mm.
because I'm not. I have not recorded an album. I still call them albums.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Since, since 2020, and I don't think I will now, because streaming services have basically made it impossible for you to make your money back.
Mm,
Right.
mhm.
It's too
It's
open.
it is just I'm just happy I'm at a different phase in my life where I'm not, you know, doing music at concerts and stuff, and doing music at festivals so as
Yeah.
much. The women's festivals, yes, some of those I still do, but
Mhm.
it's just not really as a focused thing. So
Mhm.
Mm.
really, the main stuff I'm doing, I mean, I do a lot of teaching. I do a lot of volunteer work for Temple of Diana, which is our
Mhm.
national um, temple.
Mhm.
Um, and then I love to mentor, women who are interested in the priestess path, which is its own. I usually try to discourage everyone from doing that because if because they got to get past their fantasies about it, and
Yeah.
what I've given women who who have become ordained, one of my special gifts is to give them it's actually like an ice scraper. It's what you use
Mm.
to, but it's used to get candle wax off the floor, because you're the one who's going to do it.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Night, it's your butt on the line. So I like, this is really what it's about. It's the stuff
Yeah.
that cleaning up, taking the garbage out.
Yes.
Awesome.
Truth. Truth.
You kind of mentioned like festival events and things like that. What events do you have coming up this year that you can mention?
Sure. Well, one of them, which I'm not sure if it's sold out, it's women only, and it's called Big Mouth Girl.
Mm.
And it is on the former Michigan Women's Music Festival land. If you've ever heard of the Michigan Music Festival,
Yes.
it closed in 2015, and I was involved with that for 30 years.
Wow.
I produced the closing ritual concert of that event, and there would be literally like thousands of women there. It was the largest international gathering of women in the world.
Amazing. Yep.
Yeah, and so I'm doing that. I'm going to be and so a lot of times I'm hired to do the opening of the event,
Yes.
and I'm going to be doing that and teaching at the Midwest Women's Herbal Conference that's held in
nice.
they're I'm not doing the spring one, but they're Mycelium Mysteries. It's their mushroom conference. It's fantastic.
Oh.
And so I'll be there. And then we produce our own event, Daughters of Diana Gathering, which is that's an in-person event that happens in Southern California in the fall. But these particular events are women only. I have been disinvited by the pagan festivals for a very, very long time. I am what you would call deplatformed. Because for me, I have my definition of a woman is meaning an embodied woman, not a material woman, not.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
So that in the last in many years, it changed my life, being known for that position, and it goes with my tradition, which is about female rites of passage and our blood mysteries and all of that. And so I didn't change anything from the beginning, but culture changed. It definitely affected me personally in a very big way.
Okay. All right.
Well, gratitude to those communities where you are still
able to still able to produce out there. Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you.
Yes. So we want to thank you for taking the time. Yes, it's late, so we appreciate you staying up and spending time with us and sharing your story and sharing so much about the work that you've done and what you're looking to, as you say, that legacy, or as Star was saying, the legacy that needs to remain. So thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight.
For giving us a bit of history as well, because you kind of have historical.
I think it's really important. It's really important. Thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate it. And blessings.
We appreciate you being.
Blessings to you both.
Thank you.
Blessings to you as well.
Exactly. Yes, many blessings. And now we just want to introduce a few of our other shows here on Magickal Witchy World TV.
All right. It is good to be back.
Good to be back.
And it is
Right.
astrology time. All right. So let's do it.
Yes.
Okay. So last week we kind of went over give you a summary of the month of April and all the things that are coming up for April. And now we're going to go into the zodiac signs beginning with the first four. So, Aries, fine.
Yes.
Your power surges on the 9th, which you had. Avoiding making decisions on the 13th is one of the things that's mentioned. So, the first 3 weeks of the month are your time to shine. And the sun in your sign increases your confidence and casts a favorable glow over you. You can find the courage to assert your needs on the first full moon, which was on the first of the month. It's your best chance to let others know what is in your heart, even if that means cutting ties. I'm gonna be preaching this for a long time to come about being your authentic self in general. Okay, so that's something to think about. Your ruling planet Mars was in Aries on the 9th, amping your aggression side a bit. So you may have found yourself being a little bit on that upper side. Okay,
Mhm.
curb that tendency as much as possible, especially on the 13th when Mars conjoins with Neptune, an aspect that could cloud your decision making abilities. So it might throw you helter skelter a bit and you don't want to go there.
Mhm.
Mercury joins the Aries party on the 14th, another transit that seems to boost your self confidence. No matter what the problems ahead, you know you can manage. Purchase new clothes or update your look on the 17th when the new moon arrives. You'll feel and look like $1,000,000 just doing that. Your
Mhm.
hustle pays off once the sun enters your money zone on the 19th. My birthday. Yay! That is good. Me and my money.
Yeah.
Money, money.
Yup.
Okay. On the 19th, my birthday. Over the next 4 weeks, you can increase your income through work or wise investments. Communication is harmonious when Venus changes signs on the 24th. And now you can find the balance between tact and assertiveness, a combo that will help negotiate well. Okay. The big news, Uranus will be in Gemini on the 25th for about 7 years. Okay. Think about that. And this transit stimulates your intuition and originality, which could help you realize your goals. It's also dynamic for sudden short trips and technology. However, it can make you change your mind on a whim, leading to a reputation for restlessness. Remain grounded if you wish to be as reliable as always.
Mhm. Right on. Good stuff there,
Yeah.
Star. All right.
Yay.
Taurus, the month of April, advising you to hopefully finish your work projects on the 3rd. So that's the first thing you need to know. Hopefully, you wrap those projects up on the 3rd and your luck improves on the 13th. April began quietly for you, Taurus. The sun rests in your introspection zone, the ideal transit for behind the scenes activities. That full moon that we had on the 1st signaled the end of a work assignment, freeing you up for new endeavors. Mars joined the sun yesterday on the 9th, and that's followed by Mercury a few days later, a trio that bodes well for top secret projects. You can get a lot accomplished on the down low. Your luckiest day in April is the 13th when Venus forms a harmonious angle to Jupiter. You could receive a windfall or make an important sale. That new moon coming up on the 17th is fantastic for a me day. So take the time and schedule something on that date. Take the day off, pamper yourself. Your season begins when the sun enters your sign on the 19th, and that leads to a 4 week period that puts your confidence into overdrive. This could lead to a new leadership role as others feel inspired by you. Financial increases are on the way when Venus saunters into the money section of your chart on the 24th, and the next day, Uranus follows suit. So, this transit, which lasts until 2033, could create fluctuations in your income. Unexpected gains and losses mean a strong budget is necessary. A mindful money plan will ensure you remain in the black. And I know my Taurian friends. are going to handle that money situation. They do not play when it comes to their money.
Okay, Gemini, make a date. I hope you had made a date on the 1st, okay, and negotiate on the 20th. Okay, so your social life is buzzing thanks to the sun's presence in your friendship zone at the beginning of April. Weddings, graduations, birthdays, or brunch dates could provide the mental stimulation that you need. The full moon on the 1st was lovely for a romantic night out. So maybe you did that or not, or you
Mm.
did something else inside. Schedule reservations for your favorite restaurant and treat your sweetie. Okay. Mars entered Aries on the 9th, followed by Mercury a few days later, a combo that keeps the party going for you. Who needs rest when there is another invite in the inbox? Host your own shindig on the 17th. The new moon being present that day is the best excuse to throw a party. You're ready to wind down when the sun slips into your introspective sector on the 19th. A balance between social butterfly and cocoon needs to be struck. The 20th is your best day to negotiate, thanks to Mercury's conjunctions with Saturn and Mars. So, again, think about your negotiations for that day, okay? Whether you're securing a deal or moving on a goal, your silver tongue will help you get the best terms for yourself, okay?
Mhm.
Now, your charm factor is on the rise when Venus sachets into your sign on the 24th, and the world will become that happy to accommodate your whims now, so proceed with confidence. On the 25th, Uranus settles into your sign for a 7 year stay. You heard that, right?
Mhm.
7 years. This transit, this transit will stimulate your intuition and brings many new acquaintances into your orbit. It also gives you permission to be an unabashed nonconformist. I love that part. Why
Mhm.
fit in when you can set every trend that there is? Go
Right
for it.
on.
Go on with your bad self.
Go big. Go big. All right, Cancer. Apply for a new job on the 17th. Your social life gets active on the 19th. So this is a stunning month for your career. And this is important. These are my children now. This is a stunning month for your career. The sun casts a red hot spotlight on you, attracting the attention of the top brass or the public. Even so, the full moon on the first, that full moon we came through, helped you find your roots, so you remain grounded as you continue to rise. Mars amplifies your ambition on the 9th, yesterday, when it entered Aries. So no matter how steep the climb, you're unstoppable. Mercury follows suit on the 14th, opening up the door for meetings. You can negotiate perhaps a new position, maybe a promotion, or even a new job. So ask for what you want and deserve. A new career opportunity arrives on the 17th new moon. This could be the one you've dreamed of, so be ready to sign on the dotted line soon after. Celebrate with your crew when the sun sails into Taurus on the 19th, setting up a month long busy social season. Quiet, romantic nights soothe your soul when your ruler Venus melts into the introspection section of your chart on the 24th. This is followed by Uranus the next day, a transit that rewards meditation and reflection. Over the next 7 years, you can make peace with the past, develop your clairvoyant skills, and release unconscious hangups. However, your private affairs could become public if you're not careful. So learn how to keep your business away from prying eyes. All right, Cancer. And yeah, we do want, I just want to call out in the chat, we have Melissa. So, yay. Welcome back, Melissa. Happy to see you back with us. Um, yeah, so now we have to go and do what? We got to throw some cards.
Okay. All right. All right.
Woo.
Wanda, why are
Mhm.
we pulling the cards on today?
Okay, so listen, I spent time this afternoon or this evening rather watching that little space capsule drop into the Pacific Ocean as Artemis 2, I can't remember the name of the capsule now, just came back out of, they went flying around the moon, the furthest humans have endeavored in space. So I'm looking to throw a card. Let us ask ourselves, and this is just a question, how far out, what's the furthest, what's the biggest dream? What's the furthest and the biggest and the grandest thing you could focus on right now? What's the message you need to know about that big dream? Because this new moon coming up on the 17th, this is the new moon you want to put a lot of big dream energy into.
Intentions out there.
Yes, for this new moon on
Put
the
it out
17th.
there.
We got there's lots going on with this new moon. So, what's
Yeah.
the biggest, what's that big dream? What's that furthest reach that you want to focus on? What's the information you need to know about that?
Okay, so go ahead, girl.
What card did I pull? King of Swords.
Ooh,
OMG.
oh my
And yes,
goodness. Yeah.
I'm working with my Delos Tarot, my little Delos Tarot deck. King of Swords. So what is that telling me about my biggest dream? I mean, King of Swords is all about that energy. It's a thought energy. It's a thought bubble. It's being very precise, very clear, very analytical. It's all about the numbers. It's all about the information. And it's that aspect of myself that I really need to lean into. So when it comes to really exercising that, what's that biggest, what's that furthest reach, what's that thing that I really want to go for, I need to be fact based, write it down, get the idea straight in my head, get all the information needed, and do the thing. I love this. I'm going to say it that I love seeing this card because what it's telling me is don't just dream about it, be about it.
All right. I'm
What?
looking at this card. I got the Page of Pentacles. Always has some. And look at
What a
this card.
beautiful card. That's
What a
awesome.
beautiful card. This is from the Witch's Tarot deck. And I'm looking at this, and can't you tell? I mean, can't you
Dang.
tell? I'm on my
Dang.
land. Okay,
Yes.
I'm not in the money yet. It's kind of barren right now, but it's
That's
okay.
okay.
I'm like, my land and settling myself down on it and
Yes.
trying to make my all of my big dreams with it to come true.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
like I'm looking at this, and when I saw it right away, I was like, "Ooh, I've got my land."
Listen,
I
this
was
is
just
the
like, "I'm ready to go.
time.
I'm so ready to go."
This new moon on the 17th, you guys, don't play.
Wishes,
Don't
wishes.
waste that
Don't play. Put out those
opportunity.
intentions.
Big. Go big. This is the
Go big
biggest
with
push.
it.
This is the biggest push moon of the year. Do it.
Yes, 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 yes. So
Right
don't
on, right
don't
on.
waste it. Take it
Don't
up on
waste
it, and
it.
don't waste it.
Yes.
Use it with what you've got and make it work for yourselves. Okay.
And and I want to shout out Lavetta also in the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to join us again, Lavetta. We appreciate seeing you every time we see you here on the show. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely,
Oh
absolutely.
my gosh, I can't believe it. I had a great time.
Yes, so did I. Everything was wonderful. Also, we have on April 17th, we're going to be having a panel on the show. So it's not going to be, we're going to continue the astrology and tarot the following
Mhm.
Friday. Just so you guys know, because when we have the panel, we have to go the whole hour with just the panel.
Yes.
And we're going to have a few guests on that's going to be discussing a topic that we had put out a questionnaire panel for people to let us know what topics they wanted us to have on the panel discussions.
Mm.
And what this is, and all of the topics this year is on for the panels are based off of that. So this one was that it's going to be discussing group spells on social media like TikTok, irresponsibility couples with inexperience, and what could go wrong. Should
Mhm.
groups of us create spells to work to negate the effects of the present regime?
Mhm.
Whatever else, it's a great discussion
Yeah.
because it's been a big deal for many years on social media. And we have people coming in from all walks of life to give that discussion.
Yes.
And we wanted to thank everyone. Rhonda and I would love to thank everyone in the chat who's
Yes.
now as well as in the playback. And Ruth Barrett, a wonderful guest, for being with us here tonight. We wish to thank her so much
Yes.
being with us here tonight. And Rhonda?
Yes. I want to thank all of you again. And of course, as always, please do like, subscribe, share. Share us with your friends. Share a link to the playback. We have quite a few shows now, a couple years worth, and on YouTube, as you can go back and check them out. So please do like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us every week. And we'll see you next Friday. First panel of the year.
Yes.
Right
Yes.
on. Have a great week, everyone.
Yes. And that new moon coming up, right? In that
17th. Don't
on the 17th. Oh,
on the
okay.
17th. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It'll
On the
be
17th.
yeah, when we're
I want
here.
that new moon so badly, right?
Yep. Don't forget it. All right. We'll see you all next Friday.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.